TSF Entertainment.
Welcome back to the TSF Entertainment channel. It is your boy Retro CG in the building this great Monday night. And I am joined by Fresh Highness. Yo, we coming at you on a Monday night,
Yep.
Listen, we are here to talk about Bel-Air. It's season 3, episode 7, Black Lotus. And I'm going to ask you, what are we watching? What are we watching?
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. Again, as I said on previous episode, this shows right here how sped up the season is. Because I was watching and I was like, yo, where we going? I was like,
where are we going?
I was just like, hold up, what happened? I was like, we missed something.
After dark?
Yeah, I was like, that they didn't talk about. I was like, we missed it. I was like, we had to miss it. And I went back and watched and I was like, yo, it doesn't even correlate into this episode. So I was like, yo, like, how we get here? I was like, yo, how we get here? I was like, yo, this episode's mad wild.
Yeah, it's mad wild. I need somebody to tell me something because there's things that happened in this episode that made me feel like I was watching Showtime After Dark, Cinemax After Dark, Taxi Cab Confessions, something. We're going to go ahead and jump on into this episode. We got some things to talk about. All right, bro. All right, so the episode description title is Black Lotus. Black Lotus. Viv and Phil spend some quality time together at a resort in Mexico. Punta Mita.
It was something that it seemed like it was made up.
No, Punta Mita is real.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was thinking it was like Dominican Republic at first, but I got it confused with Punta Cana, but Punta Mita is in Mexico.
Okay.
Will is stuck in a hard place between his family and his chosen family, which, again, Will, mind your business. Get out of grown folks' business. That's what you spend a lot of time meddling in. Episode starts off with Viv and Uncle Phil. They're packing up and they're getting ready to go to a little weekend getaway. This is kind of doubling back on the last episode for the anniversary and how they decided that they're going to start prioritizing their relationship, putting their relationship first, and getting their sexy back. So yep. I was glad to see that they didn't waste no time, trying to go ahead and repair.
I didn't like
that they done it so quickly,
bruh. Yes, I get it. Of course, we don't want them to be upset at each other, but it was just like, yo, and realization ain't no, we didn't get a timeline between how long it took. So all of a sudden now, we got Viv, she was mad about the whole thing with Erica on one episode. The next episode, they're at dinner and then they're making up, and then now they're going on a trip. And I was like, yo, wait a minute. I was like, yo, where this happen at? I was like, if y'all want to try to show some realization in relationships, that's not going to happen that quick. It's going to be like a whole yo, wait a minute, we about to be beefing for a minute. So it was just all of a sudden now, the last episode, oh yeah, we all good, now we taking a trip, and I was just like, yo, where this coming from? I was just like, really? I was like, oh, so y'all all good now? And I get it, like I said, but I'm not going to say I wanted them to be beefing the entire season, but this also showed how sped up the season was.
Yeah, I would have liked to think that some time has passed, but they didn't make it clear in the episode how much time has passed. Given Vivian's hairstyle, for me, makes me feel like there's some time that has passed, maybe a couple of days, maybe a week or so. Anyway, Uncle Phil takes the time out to do some of the things that Vivian had noted to him or informed him that he needed to do more of, and I guess that's pay attention to her. So he's complimenting her, and it was a smart move, Uncle Phil, very smart move, because a woman in the mirror getting dressed, and you coming up behind her and complimenting her from her skin to how beautiful she is and how sexy she is. It just made her feel good. It made her feel like, okay, her husband is paying attention to her. So I was like, okay, they're gonna have a good trip. All right, so they're getting ready to leave, and Will and Carlton come out. They see them off, and they take this opportunity to remind them, like, listen, I don't want no mess out of you two. Y'all old enough to keep yourself. Like, don't get into no ish.
Yep. Literally what it is.
She's a little hesitant about leaving because this is the first time they've been away from Carlton since he came back from rehabilitation.
Yeah. And I was actually kind of happy that Will walked out and said, like, yo, I got him. We good. Like, but right then, as soon as he said that, I was just like, yeah. And I was like, they about to do some things in the crib.
Yeah.
So it was just like, y'all go ahead and get the hell on up out of the crib. So, but it was still dope.
They do this all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like every time Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv is not home, they got company, or they having a party or a gathering.
I got Lisa and Jeffrey. She was like, "Oh well, Jeffrey will be here." And Jeffrey's just like, "I got them," and I was just like, "Yeah, you probably got them to a certain extent," but I was just like,
and they were like, "Damn, Jeffrey."
Yeah, exactly. Like that shut everything down. Like, yo, we gotta figure this out.
So they get ready to leave, and there's at the door, and I'm like, who the hell is knocking at the bank's house like this? Sound like the police. Is somebody getting ready to serve a warrant? And this is old nutcase uptown, Mr. Campbell, coming over here to complain about the protesters have changed. Yeah. Bruh, he was rapping on the people's door like he was the feds or something. Like he was getting ready.
I'm still trying to figure out. I'm like, yo,
why everybody
y'all live in this gated community and then you live in a gated home. How are these people how are these people able to get to your crib so easy though? Like, how was he able to get to your front door like that?
Yeah. What happened to the security details?
Without you knowing.
Yeah.
Oh, without Jeffrey saying
like the protests, things are heating up, obviously, because he came to tell Uncle Phil that, listen, I tried it your way, this ain't working. These protesters, they're chaining themselves to equipment. This Yolanda chick, she's getting out of hand, and Will overhears him say Yolanda's name. So he's like, Yolanda, I know Yolanda, what's up with her? And like, again, Will, back up out of grown folk business. Like, what you're a teenager. What value can you add to this conversation? So Uncle Phil even tells him, like, look, Will, I ain't got much time right now. He's like, yo, Mr. Campbell, let's go to my office. We'll talk this out. And so he get in there, he started like, bitching and moaning at Phil, like, I tried it your way. This ain't working. These protesters, they're getting in my way. They're acting crazy. They're chaining themselves to equipment. Like, I need you to do something about it. Like, you say you had connections, make this go away.
Yeah.
And so hesitantly, Uncle Phil reminds him that they are trespassing on private property. So, we could have them technically arrested, or at the very least, we could have them removed from the property. Yeah. And he was like, okay, good, do it and enjoy your vacation. I'm like, I would have checked him and like, yo, the next time you have an issue, you hit me on my cell, send me an email, or visit me at my office during business hours.
Text something, bro,
because no personal visits to my home. Yeah, ain't no personal visits to my home. I would have checked his ass real quick.
Yeah, you ain't just about to come up to my crib. That's why I was just like, how you just pop up randomly, and that's why I was like, yo, where Jeffrey at?
You decide to come to my house again, ring the fucking doorbell. How about that?
Like, how you get in? Because if it's not Jeffrey, then somebody else had to be there to just be like, oh, okay, yeah, he could come on in. Like, you just not getting up to my front door.
I would have had, you know what, Jeffrey? Why don't you see Mr. Campbell to the door real quick? Yeah, I would have had Jeffrey see his ass out coming up to my house, rapping on that door like that.
It's somehow, some way. Like, you got to my front door. I don't know how, but you got to there.
Don't come back.
Exactly.
Visit my office during business hours. Make an appointment. All right, so Will hightails it over to Charlie's Vinyl, aka Jazz's shop, to show him the new Black Cess merchandise that he got in, you know, and to hook Jazz up. And of course, who happens to be there? Yolanda. I said it last episode. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to continue to say it in this episode. She messy.
Yep. You called it. You called it.
She messy as hell.
I feel like there's a more that we have not got yet with her character, and I don't know if like, and I hate to, you know, because it's, you know, stereotypical.
You going right where I'm
dirty.
Yes,
but it's just like the vibes. It's just like, yo, something's not all the way there with her. Like there's something there that's just like, yo, is she in it for like, you know, I want to build up the community, or is this something where it's just like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's that extra where it's just like, yo, I'm trying to do something else at the same time.
I'm not getting politician vibes with Yolanda. Yeah. I'm getting a roundaway girl vibes with Yolanda, the way they dress her, the way they characterize her. And I get it. She's urban. And so, you know, I get that. But the way that they portray the character, it's a little off-putting for me. You know, yeah. I don't take her serious as a politician. I'm sorry, I don't. So anyway, she throws up in Will's face. Oh, your uncle, yeah, all that neck rolling and your uncle and all this stuff. And I'm like, and Will like, Uncle Phil. He was like, yo, I need to stay for this because Jazz had told him, like, now it's not a good time.
Yep.
Like, we getting ready to have a meeting. You probably need to get on up out of here or whatever. And when he heard Yolanda mention Uncle Phil's name, it sparked his interest. And he felt like he needed to stay to find out what the meeting was about. During the meeting, I feel like, you know, you kind of are inciting a riot almost. You know,
not by yourself.
You're
the same thing.
You're encouraging the people to take matters in their own hand instead of handling it legally. Yolanda had already told them that if they can get enough protests or enough signatures on their petition,
they
can get a judge to block the construction until the issue is resolved. That's the proper way to go about it. But this Terrell guy, whatever his name is, he seemed like, you know, he ready to be in the streets.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, we got to find another way to do this. This ain't working or whatever. So I already knew right there that this was not going to be good for Jazz. And you see who is not good for Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
So during the meeting, she pissed me off again because during the meeting, she called Will out in front of everybody that Uncle Phil was his uncle. Like, you knew that already. You had already said that to him. Why did you feel the need that you had to publicly say that in front of everybody in the meeting? I want they would have jumped on that boy. They could have jumped on that boy there at that meeting. Like, I feel like that was messy right there that she did that.
Push the agenda further.
Yeah, pushing the agenda further, or just trying to get people upset further.
Yeah.
And so Will pulls Jazz to the side. Jazz like, listen, bro, go home. I don't want you wrapped up in what's about to happen. He was like, your uncle is looking out for himself and his client. And he was like, no, you family too, and I want the best for you. He's like, go home, Will. Go home, Roger. you finna get in the middle of something that gonna get you in trouble.
Yeah. When he told him that, I knew. I was like, yeah, it's about to be something mad serious. It was something that he was trying to look out for him where he didn't want Will to incriminate himself. And I was just like, yo, they about to do something wild. Like, when he told him, I was like, yeah, go home. Like, yeah, you only hear the rest. That way, if, you know, something go down, you have no knowledge. And I knew then. I was just like, yeah, they about to do something wild. Yeah, they about to do something crazy.
Which I had respect for the fact that Jazz did tell him
that
he needed to leave. But at the same time, I was like, man, you know, that's just an open invitation for Will, right?
Yeah.
All right, so they have arrived at the resort, you know. I guess they got on their private jet and they went to the resort. And we see that they also invited Lamont and Annie, which is LaMarcus's parents. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I wished, not in this scene, But I wished that there would have been a conversation with Uncle Phil and Lamont about LaMarcus's condition and him pushing him too hard, especially after Hillary had confided in him about, what had happened at the hospital. I was really looking for there to be a conversation between Lamont and Uncle Phil about, you just got your son out of surgery, open heart surgery. Maybe you need to just kind of like support his recovery and not push him. They finna be in-laws, they're frat brothers, they're friends. So I felt like he would have had respect for Uncle Phil, or at the very least, Uncle Phil could have had that conversation with him before anyone else could, but that was a missed opportunity.
I mean, maybe now that you said that, maybe they didn't get that chance because, we saw, they just popped up like, they wasn't expecting, and I forget the characters' names. I forget the name.
Tiana and Caleb.
Yeah, Tiana. They just pop up, so they might have got that chance. Like Phil might have got that chance to say that, or they might have that chance to talk, but they didn't get it because, they popped up. So when they popped up, I was just like, they were just like, oh my God. And I was just like, okay. And then, when he was just like, oh yeah, especially like, yeah, we, our children, they back home. And he was just like, all of them, let's say it together. And I was just like,
F them kids.
I was just like, really? It was funny. This was the funniest scene because it was just like, Phil and Viv and like they didn't have no enthusiasm behind it where they did.
Like, they act like they do this on a regular, like F them kids. So we meet a couple, which is Uncle Phil and Lamont's, where they're frat. Yeah, they're frat brothers.
All of them are frat brothers. So.
All of them are frat brothers, and Tiana and Viv, they're cool. They just hung out a few times. I don't feel like they've had the type of vibes that they had in this episode, but they were just kind of like housewives that kind of like hooked up and hung out during events. So when I saw this, I was like, damn, why they have to do my girl like this? I'm gonna have to let y'all have it. My girl, she a hoe. Oh my goodness, we're gonna get into that.
Yeah.
So they're sitting out, having cigars and cognac and cigars, and the fellas are just kind of like chilling. And Uncle Phil, I give him props because he wasn't trying to put on airs in front of his friends. Yep. He wasn't trying to make it look like I'm living the good life and everything is all good. He was explaining to the fellas that, hey, me and Viv going through a rough patch right now. I ain't had none in 2 months. I got some things going on, and I just need this trip this weekend to be, something that restores my relationship with my wife.
Yeah.
And the fellas, they have a round table discussion about, them having whatever issues that, well, I'm not gonna say issues, but the things that are occurring within their individual marriages, and all of it kind of goes back to intimacy. And Lamont was saying that he had back surgery, so his stamina ain't where it used to be. Uncle Phil was like, I ain't had none in about 2 months. That's a young man game, because Caleb was sitting here bragging about how healthy their sex life is.
Yeah.
And so he reveals to them that his wife had paid for him to get a happy ending that morning with the masseuse, and she watched and she enjoyed it, and it made her hot. And he was like, yeah, that's why we missed breakfast this morning, happy wife, happy life. And so he goes on to even tell the fellas that his wife has a plaything, a 25-year-old that keeps her satisfied. And I'm like, he's serious. Yeah. I thought he was joking at first. He was serious. Then he pulled out the Viagra and he passes it around the table.
Yeah, he pulled that out. I was just like, yo, what the hell's going on?
I'm not talking to you, Siri. and so he then even tells them that he takes all this horny goat oak wood, whatever. He takes all these herbs and supplements and everything, and he was just like, yo, y'all need to get some of this. This is going to keep y'all sex life jumping. You know, he passes around the table, and the fellow was like, "Oh, okay." But the main thing that it was like, you let your wife have a 25-year-old, and you okay with that?
Like it just seemed like for Phil, it was crazy because it was just like LaMarcus pops. He was like, "Word, oh yeah, let me get some of the pills immediately." Like he ain't care about nothing else. And Phil just like, "What's going on?
Like, yeah, where am I at?
Where am I at right now? Like we talking about passing, Viagra pills and all this other stuff. Like what's going on?" Like he took those joints immediately. It was just like LaMarcus pops was just like, "Yeah, whatever. Hand me them joints." This was a wild scene.
I'll let you have this one.
This was a wild scene. Like I didn't expect it. Like I guess from Bel-Air, I didn't expect.
I didn't either.
I did not expect like a nudity theme. So when they actually showed it, I was like, wait a minute, what am I watching? I was like, okay. I was like, wait a minute, what's happening here? And I was just like, okay, y'all really showing it. And Viv and the girls, they all together, and that's when she lets Viv know, like, oh yeah, I have a boy toy and all this other stuff. And it was just like at first Viv didn't take any heed to it, and then she realized like, oh, she's serious.
Especially when she looked around and she saw that they were on the nudist side. She was like, oh yeah. She was like, yeah, just take your top off and enjoy yourself. Let it be free.
Yeah.
And so Eddie was like, well, I've been experimenting with paddles. And she was like, oh yeah, that ain't nothing. Then she was like, so she took her top off, and then Tiana takes her top off, and then Viv was like, she took her top off, and I'm like, oh, okay. I was like,
she was just like, I'm good. And then and then she just woo, and I was just like,
but what surprised me even more than the whole, I agree with everything you said, but what really surprised me is that Viv didn't seem to be put off by the 25-year-old, and she seemed intrigued.
Yeah, she did.
She didn't seem disgusted. She didn't seem like, oh my goodness, you're doing that. Like, no, what you? She didn't react the way I expected her to react. She seemed to be very receptive to the idea, and even this look on her face right now, she's like, But this is the same person. This is the same person last episode when her girlfriend came that didn't want to hit the pen. But now you sitting here contemplating on having an open marriage. Okay.
I didn't even think it was going to happen, because I was just like, yeah, I was even surprised that she even took the top off. It was woo. I was like, yeah, that ain't about to happen. She just about to look at them like, okay, both of y'all crazy. Right. I was just about to lay back and
get me some sun and enjoy myself. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to do, but I'm going to keep myself covered. No, she did. She took the top off. I'm like, oh.
I feel like this scene right here could have been deleted, in my opinion.
I felt like it was needed to transition what happened later on in the episode. I felt like she was sitting here telling her husband, they were both sharing with each other about their conversations with Caleb and Tiana, but neither one of them again seemed to be like, well, that's them, they can do their stuff. But I feel like a true black couple that's not into swinging would have said off the top, like, nah, we ain't doing that shit.
And I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna get into that later, because that was something else that annoyed me with this episode.
I didn't expect them to be casually strolling around the resort having a conversation about it, like as if they're thinking about it. And then they even left. This is what threw me off. We went back and forth with the group text, because again, I feel like something happened, but you was like, nah, ain't nothing happened. But when she said, let's let the weekend, whatever happens, happens. Let the weekend take us. And I'm like, so you sound like you down for the get down.
Yeah. but that's I'll
what are you watching?
I'll wait till we get to that scene to even break that down.
Carlson with the Magnum XLs. What are we watching?
When I saw it, I couldn't stop laughing, because it was just like,
I was with Warrior.
Both of y'all are supposed to be teenagers, So I'm like, y'all can't be no more than y'all seen, yeah. So y'all probably about 17. And he's just like, yo, like, what's going on? What we doing? And so when I first saw it, I couldn't stop laughing because it was just like, just, and he's just like, oh, I'm just preparing myself. And it was just like, bro, like, y'all in high school.
Yeah.
But the way they write it, for a second, you forget that they're in high school.
Yeah. I said that. I said, at times they write the characters as if they're adults.
Yep.
And we as adults that are watching this can relate to some of the story arcs. But at the same time, I have to ask myself, these are kids, like, but at least they're promoting safe sex. So promoting safe sex. Carlton goes to the store, get some packages, for their little gathering or whatever. And Will is using this opportunity to tell Carlton about the meeting. He was like, man, I wish you would have came to the meeting, whatever, because I feel like some funny ish going on right now. And you're like, Carlton's like, man, forget all about that. Our girls getting ready to come over. We're gonna have a good time. Like, ain't nothing we can do about it. My dad's gonna do the right thing. Don't worry about it. So Will's still bothered by all of this and decides that he gonna take his ass over here to see Mr. Campbell. And I'm like, what were you gonna do? He was smooth while he slid up in there because he slid up in there, introducing black ass to the black ass. And he was telling Mr. Campbell about his lifestyle brand, Blackses, and that how 50% of the proceeds are supporting black businesses, and he slid Charlie's Vinyl in there, and he was like, oh, Charlie's Vinyl, you mean the store that I'm trying to buy?
Yeah.
And he pretty much told Will, which I kind of agree with what Mr. Campbell was saying. However, going back to what I said last review, there is nothing wrong with you wanting to better your community. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to develop your community or whatever. My only point is make a place for the business owners that you are trying to take their businesses. Make a place for them, and then everything is all good. But he basically told Will, he was like, Will, you came out here to better yourself. And I'm like, how you know he from Philly? And how you know that, I guess Uncle Phil and him had a conversation about it. But
I mean, I guess I took it as just like overall, everybody know Will's story.
Yep.
I feel like because he's the talk of the town in Bel-Air, so it's just like everybody knew his story. So,
but he was right though. He was like, did you turn down these opportunities that were available for you because the rest of your hood didn't have these opportunities? I mean, and that's true because it was the same problem that he had with his friend Trey. His friend Trey felt like he left him behind, and he, switched it up on him. So, I mean, Mr. Campbell had a good point at Will. Like, you hold the mirror up to Will. Will don't know how to take that.
Yeah.
So that's why it's best that you stay out of grown folk business, because ain't nothing you can do to move the needle for this situation right here.
Yeah, when he showed up, I was just like, bro, there's nothing else. So I was even shocked that he even showed up, but I figure, of course, he's loyal to Jazz at the same time. He's just like, yo, I'm gonna just try to help him in any way, any way possible to keep his shop. I was also shocked to see that Jeffrey even brought Penelope to the house, because he had been keeping that under wrap. So to see that, I mean, I know he was supposed to be, watching out for Will and Carlton. I was even still shocked that he even brought her to the house.
So I'm going to leave this up to interpretation, but I do think that some time has passed, and I think that they have gotten to a good place. Obviously, in this episode, it's obvious that they got to a good place. So I think that they, some days, maybe a week or two has passed, and they've really enjoyed hanging out with each other and enjoying each other's company. So I think he brought her over to meet the boys and to show her the house, show her the property and all that stuff. So and I guess this was his way of having a date with her and still being there to watch the fellas as well.
Yeah.
So Carlton comes up and he tries to put his charm on her, which I was really expecting Frederick to be there as well for some reason. I don't know why. But Carlton comes up and he tries to be charming and introduce himself to Penelope, and he tries to make suggestions for things that they can do to get lost for the evening.
It was so obvious, and I was just like, bruh, yo, I get it. if you want the crib to yourself, I was just
Just
like,
say
yo,
it.
you're making it so
Just,
obvious.
yeah,
Oh,
just say it at this point.
you was
Like,
just like, oh, she hasn't been there. Like, yeah, Lee, you could take her there. And I was just like, you think Jeffrey's not gonna pick up on that, bro?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and you live in a mansion, so at the end of the day, even if they were there, still like that wouldn't have prevented your plans in whatsoever. Because all we saw them do was, I guess, the other part of what he was trying to do. He was trying to get some alone time with Miss Thing.
yeah,
So they agree to go ahead and let them have the house to themselves for the evening. Jeffrey reminds Carlton that, listen here, I don't want no shenanigans out of you. I don't want no foolery. And have your little company up out of here by midnight.
yep.
Or actually 11:59. Have them up out of here by 11:59. And me and Penelope, we're gonna go and enjoy ourselves. And of course, the girls come over. I feel like this is a wash and repeat from the double date. They show up with these matching shorts on. They love their boyfriends, and then they got the matching T-shirts that say I love my girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
And Zaire shows up from the club. They've invited him.
Yeah.
Now explain this to me, because I ain't gonna go in on Jackie. I don't win on Jackie one time. I ain't gonna go in on Jackie right now, but I feel like this is messy.
Okay, so
I feel like she ain't had no business bringing her ass over here. I feel like,
well, I when I watched it the first time, I was just like, bro, really? But then when I looked at it, I was like, yo, I can't fault him, because he literally told Will, like, hey, it was somebody else that I had in mind to come over, and they backed out. So I hit Jackie. And when Jackie came over, Jackie even said to herself, like, yo, I didn't know this was about to be a whole couples thing, etc. or whatever. So it was just like, okay, I can't fault him. I can't fault Jackie. The dope part that I liked about this whole scene was that even Jackie came out and was just like, yo, she apologized to Lisa. So I felt that. And I was just like, you know what? I was like, okay. I was like, that's a dope part of it. Just like, if I was in your shoes, I would have felt the same way. Everything was, I didn't like how Will made it known. Like, I mean, although, he should have made it known, like, what was that, episode 3, the whole situation. But of course, they had no labels. But I hated how he made it known, like, Jackie, this is my girl, etc., etc., etc. Lisa, this is my friend, etc., etc., etc. Like, so we need to get this across. And I was just like, at this point, it's already known. But the main part that I hated it was just like Amira, or Amira, however y'all folks say it. Amira is just like, she just got this whole whatchamacallit, and she ready to go. And I was just like, yo, you don't even know. I was like, you have not been around long enough.
That's
like,
what I said last week. That's what I said last episode. Like, you just got here.
You just got here.
This ain't your beef. Why are you making it your beef? If Lee, and I appreciate Carlton finally checking his old lady, because he told her, he was like, if they good, we should be good. Like, this ain't our beef. This ain't our problem. So mind your business and let's go have a good time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel what you're saying about Jackie, but Jackie knew where she was coming. And she knew that probably wasn't the best thing. I still feel like Jackie got a thing for Will. She might not be obvious out here in the with it, but I think she's lurking in the shadows, waiting to shoot her shot. So we'll see what happens with that. But I just felt like, I don't know, something about this didn't feel like this was as innocent as they portrayed it as. But then she all turned up. Let her stay. She don't need to be here.
I was just like, as soon as this part came, I was just like, yo, I said, okay, this shows how unhinged she is.
And immature she is.
And I was like, it go back to what Spencer was like, yo, I know you. And I was just like, yeah, shorty wildin'. Because I was like, yo, you just came into the fold. You don't know any of these people.
or the history, obviously, because she found out all their history out here at this game that she concocted. And I felt like that right there in itself, that was kind of messy. The questions and stuff was messy. Like, if it would have just been the couples, Will, Carlton, and Lisa and her, maybe it wouldn't have been so bad. But you got company here, company.
Yep.
Like your co-workers.
Yeah,
these are co-workers at the same time. Some of these questions I don't feel like you should have been asking in front of outside parties. Like, who did you lose your virginity to? Like, what are you in high school? Well, I guess you are. Like, I just, and Carlton has to pick the most uncomfortable question to answer of all.
I was just like, why nobody else said? And I get it. It was just like, oh, we reveal what's going on in our lives, etc., whatever. And I was,
just if that been me and you in a situation like that, we would have shut that shit down
immediately. I'd have been like, yo, we came here to get, we came here to relax. We came to
have a good time,
etc., whatever. Why are we talking about something that's serious? And I immediately learned, I'm like, man, I ain't playing. And I don't care what a mirror would have
had an attitude no matter who he lost his virginity to, because it wasn't her.
Yep.
So whether it was Lisa or some other random chick, I feel like she was using that as an opportunity to find out more about this triangle that she's inserted herself in. And I'm like, and she made Lisa, who's supposed to be your friend, uncomfortable.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, y'all need the peep game right here. That y'all don't need neither one of y'all. Lisa, you don't need to be spending time with her. Carlton, you don't need to be spending time with her. We already played her for who she is. So exactly. I was Will in this episode with her, but Will was a little bit more nicer to her than I would have been.
Exactly.
All right, what these freaks up here doing?
So this was around the time where, they all have a little chit chat, and LaMarcus' mom is where he's like, yo, I'm going to ask him. And, it's
she did. She told her, she's like, I got
like, I ain't about it. Like, I already brought it up. So she's bring up the whole question of everything about, them having to open the marriage. And, they discuss it. And she's just like, this is, what we decided. And, everything has been great and whatnot. And then, of course, like you said, they all frat brothers. And he turns to the DJ and was just like, yeah, and they play the C Murder, down for Monagas, and they all get turned up. And then two other bros come in,
they stepping
with it. And Omega, I know y'all are the ones with the bros. Please don't attack me, because I got some Omegas in my family. But they all strolling, everything is all good and whatnot. It was just like, this was another scene. I was just like,
they could have did without.
They could have did without it, because I was like, I get it. Y'all on vacation, and I thought this was going to show, because the way they kept focusing on Aunt Viv, I was like, okay, this is what's going to show, like, now her and Uncle Phil, they're about to rekindle somewhat, because if she's seeing, her husband, step in, with his line brothers, etc., or whatever. But it was just like, this could have been, without, like, because we had already got the backstory that they already had an open marriage. So it was just like, why y'all opening this up again?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it could have been done. And then that's when, they have this whole, what you call it? Like, oh, should we? And, what would she do? And, well, whatever it takes us and whatnot. And, yeah, so it was just like,
and the fact that it took another couple to open y'all sex life back up, I have an issue with that. But let's keep moving.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. All right, so Penelope and Jeffrey are out at this Jamaican patty place that Carlton recommended, and they're having a nice time. They really are having a nice time. It's a nice little date. It's a nice little vibe. And I really appreciated it. I was like, okay, this is cool. They're not really throwing spitting venom at each other. They're
Yeah.
not really bringing up the past. They're just really enjoying each other's company. You know, they got history together. They got a child together. You know, they really had a real grown folks date, and I really liked it. I really liked it, and I really liked Penelope.
Yeah.
I liked her before this, and I really, really liked her in this episode because she seems to be a balance for Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Because even when the dude brushed up against her, and he was like, you know, he got an attitude with her, like, you know, watch out, B. And I'm like, and Jeffrey was getting ready to, you know, bang his line real quick.
Wagwan. He was ready. Yeah, he was ready. He was ready. Wagwan. And that boy went into full, like, I was like, man, Jeffrey about to do some kung fu or some.
Man, Jeffrey was getting ready to muck him up.
Yeah, he's about to get ready to do some type of whatchamacallit and take him out. And she
calmed him. Yep.
Yeah, because I saw that as like, yo, she knew, like, yo, I know who Jeffrey is. Like,
and she know he bought that life.
You know, he about that life. Like, you don't know who he is, but this man right here, he's about to get ready to do some type of jiu-jitsu that you never known before.
Yeah, he's gonna end you right here in this restaurant.
Yeah, he about to get ready to take you out, and you not even know what's coming to you.
And I like how she played it, because she could have played it in a situation where she gaslit Jeffrey, or she, you know, she diffused the situation. She de-escalated the situation. I really liked it about her because, you know, she wasn't on some ratchet stuff like, yeah, beat his ass, and yeah, he brushed up against me. She really, you know, was a woman about it, and she really tried to keep Jeffrey out of harm's way, and like, you know, focus on me. We having a good time. I'm finna show you how to play these darts. I'm like, okay, Penelope, she mature. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. She was a great balance for him. A great balance for him.
Man, this whole scene, I was just like, bruh. I was just like, y'all don't peep the vibe. Like, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's like she killed.
And I'm like, all of y'all are allowing her to throw the vibe off. And even Lisa's like, wait a minute. Like, we done found out that, you know, Carlton, he lost his virginity to Lisa.
We found out that Jack is stuck with Will.
Yeah, it's just like, you know,
Will is sleeping with Lisa.
And, you know, Will, you know, whatchamacallit hooked up. And I was just like, yo, who? I was just like, bruh, nobody stepped up and said,
I want to send her ass to the house right there.
Before that, I'd have been like, bro, we're not playing this. We're on chill vibes. Like, what's going on? And I wouldn't have cared. I would have been like, all right. I would have told, you know, if I'm Will, I would have been like, yo, Lisa, we about to get ready to do our own shit. Cause
right.
What's the point?
I don't know what Amira is on, but she on some bullshit right here.
Like, she on something else right now.
Now, this is when he should have separated. Remember when they was at the beach and we were talking about they separated? This is when he should have got his ass up out of that jacuzzi. Be like, yo, let's go.
Yeah, I was just like, yo, like, we.
I didn't invite you over here for this.
Like why are we having this conversation? Like, this is nothing. And on top of that, like we said before, you're new. Like, you're new. You have not been here before. Like, granted, you know, Jackie hasn't really been there, but Jackie's still been in the fold. You know, Lisa's been in the fold.
Even she know her place. Even she know her place and know when she need to speak and when she don't need to speak.
Everybody's been in
Amira act like she the first lady of the house.
Act like just, let's put it all out there. Like, you know what I'm about. And
then she tried to throw therapy in there, talking about we learned this in therapy that we got to confront our issues and all this stuff, but yet you still pushing product up your nose, but you want to put everybody else on blast about their business. All right, let's go. So we sitting down. Jackie's already excused herself for the evening. She was like, listen, I'm finna go. And Zaire was like, okay, we finna break out or whatever. So now it's just Will and Carlton and Lisa and that Thing. And Miss Thing decides she wants to confront Will. And she wants to target Will. And she wants to tell Will about himself and all the things that are wrong about him. I'm like, didn't you just meet him 5 minutes ago? How do you know him? And the fact that Carlton didn't check her, and the fact that Lisa didn't check her, Lisa tried. She was like, Amir, you going too far now?
No,
Like,
no.
nah. She should have got up in her face and be like, yo, that's my dude. Like,
No.
you might have an issue with him, but this ain't none of your business. And
Right.
it's not your place to talk to him like that.
In real life.
And Carlton didn't defend his cousin. I was like, man, I would put that thing up out of our house.
In real life, me and Carlton would have had to go outside and shoot the fade, because I would have straight up told him, I'd have been like, yo, get your shorty in check. Because, yo,
she
if
running
you
them
don't
out.
get her in check, I'm going to do it. And then when I get her in check, don't get mad at what I'm about to say. And I was kind of mad that Will had even backed down from her coming, you know, not granted, you know, she somewhat has some valid points, but at the same time, it was just like, yo, I was hoping
It was the hostility and the messiness that was behind it.
Exactly. I was hoping Will was gonna come out, because he said, yo, like, Carlton, get your girl. I thought he was gonna come out and say, like, yo, you ain't even been around. Like, you don't know me. You don't know Carlton like that. You don't know Lisa like that. You coming in, you doing this, you know, X, Y, and Z. And it never got to that point. But I'm just like, yo, I would have told Carlton, like, yo, we got to step outside, because if we don't, I'm about to say something to your girl that you're not going to like, you're going to take offense to. And we just got to, you know, we got to shoot the fade. But he never did it. And then it was just like, I hated how everybody, like, all of them just turned on Will.
Yeah.
It was just like Carlton turned on Will. He's just like, really? And then Lisa turns on Will. And I was just like, well, goddamn, like, everybody jumping on Will. And I was just like, yo, Will is not, like, I get it. She's right. But at the same time, it's like, don't none of y'all see that, like, shorty, she's new.
And she keep trying to create problems. She keep conflict up. And Will even told her that, like, it seemed like you thrive on this.
Bruh, that was the
like
best
drama
part of the whole say. He was like, oh yeah, you thrive on it. And nobody picked up on that. And I would have thought and I would have hoped that they would have showed, like, even Carlton when he was there like this, like, oh, you know what? We're a little bit right. Like, yo, she.
I feel like this is the exact same thing she did with Spencer at the meeting. Yep. So this is a pattern of her just trying to incite controversy with people. You know, it's a deflection. It's a deflection. Because how would you have felt if they would have been asking you those hard questions about your life and how or why you failed rehab 3-4 times or whatever? Like, they've accepted you for who you are. They've welcomed you into their circle. And they made you feel like you're part of the family. And this is how you pay him. Like, I don't even understand what your beef with Will is about. And it seems more centered around Lisa, so she felt like she needed to defend her new friend that she just met 5 minutes ago. And I'm like, yo, you going too hard. Why? What is your agenda? Like, you trying to? It's like she is trying to. You know, I know this woman.
Yeah,
I know this woman real well. This is the type of woman that wants to separate you from everyone that's close to you and everyone that you care about, for her to be your orbit, your scent, for you to become her nucleus. So in other words, I don't want nobody else to be in your ear. I don't want you to be around nobody else. I don't want you dealing with nobody else. I just want you focused on me. So she's trying to alienate everyone else that's important to Carlton or that's in Carlton's circle, so she can be his one all be all. And those type of relationships are not healthy. Those type of females are toxic. And we see that Amira is very toxic for him.
I just couldn't believe how everybody.
What is this? What's going on? They in the pool. Addie somewhere getting her back cracked right now because Lamont don't took the Viagra pills and they didn't come down to the pool. And so whatchamacallit say, yay, Addie.
Bro, this entire
they get that work.
This entire scene, everything just annoyed me.
Adina Howard, freak like me?
Because I'm just like, yo, okay. And I know some people are going to they probably going to jump on me, but it makes sense. I'm just like, yo. So all of them, they in this hot tub. all of a sudden they just talking about like, oh yeah, he's attracted to you. He thinks he looks good. And Phil's just like, yeah, go ahead and go over there. And now he's talking to, Shorty wife, and they sitting over there drinking and talking and all of this other stuff. And then they go back to their room and they just like, yeah, well, the night doesn't have to end. And Vivian's the one that's just like, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and go. But they don't do anything. Here is my problem with this. This is what annoyed me so much. I'm like, yo, and that's why I said this is how we can tell they speed in the season along. So we're on episode 7. Episode 5, and maybe it was episode 4, but we found out the whole thing with Erica, that they kissed, etc., whatever. So you mad at him, whatnot. And then y'all go out to dinner, and then out of nowhere, y'all make up, and now y'all on this trip. The problem I had with this, I was just like, yo, you were just mad at him for kissing another woman. Now, granted, it was history.
Now you turned on by it.
Whatever. I get that. It was history. I get that, from college, etc., whatever. But you were still mad at him for kissing a woman. Now, all of a sudden, y'all are out here and y'all are about to become swingers. Yep. Like, you just just like, oh, well, yeah, go ahead, have fun. And I was just like, how? Like, how y'all this easily influenced? We're just like, oh, okay, yeah, go ahead.
I guess it is coming from the same place, a friend of a friend. So I get that Erica and Uncle Phil have history. Not that you should have been okay with her making a move on your husband. I get it. But, you 3 episodes ago, you were this pillar of morality. And that how dare her kiss my husband.
Yep.
And now you're getting ready to pass your husband off to this freak.
Yeah. And I literally thought...
You okay with it? I said the same thing.
I literally thought something happened in the jacuzzi. But it wasn't until this scene here where I paid attention. And luckily it was one of those where I had the captions on, where she was just like, you know what? Yeah, I can't believe we let another couple almost influence us.
Yeah.
And that's what I was like, oh, okay, so nothing happened, but I was just like, it shouldn't even got to that point. Like,
yeah. The fact that you went and set up on that man lap, he might have played with you up under the water or whatever. You might have played with him up under the water, whatever. Yeah. The fact that you went and sat up under him and she went and sat up under him, and the fact that y'all sitting here giggling at each other about it, I was just like, dichotomy. Like, how can you sit here and say that you are upset with this man because he kissed or Erica kissed him, and you sitting here y'all were getting ready to go in the room with these folks.
And we're in the room, but nothing happened.
Nothing
happened. I was just like, so what was the point?
Happened.
I was just like, so what? I was like, so that defeat the whole purpose of you being mad at him with Erica. I would like, that was the only thing that annoyed me, because I was just like, y'all were just at odds now, y'all made up, and now y'all on the trip and y'all about to become swingers. Yeah, that whole situation made me mad. So, but this right here was hilarious.
Yes, sir. Back at the restaurant, Jeffrey is in the bathroom washing his hands or whatever, and old boy came in, still talking greasy, still talking ish, and had the nerve to tell Jeffrey, tell your beat to save me a dance. What?
Exactly.
Man, Jeffrey chopped that man in the throat one time. That's all he needed to do, touch him one time. He cracked him in the throat real quick and pushed him into that bathroom stall and locked the door. I was like, oh man, he finna go to work on this man. I thought he was gonna do a Tommy Egan on him. You remember the episode of Forrest where Tommy was in the bathroom and he gutted old boy?
Yep, that's the rap. I was just like, wow,
it's over. It's over for you, sir.
As soon as I saw Jeffrey lock that door, I said, bro, you don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, your life.
I was shocked that was all that Jeffrey did. I was shocked that's all Jeffrey did.
Yeah.
So when he did it, I was just like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, all right. And of course, Penelope, she saw,
She saw him when he
Dude,
came
come
out
out.
of the bathroom, and she even made a comment to Jeffrey about it. She was like, I can't remember what she said, but she referenced the fact that, okay, well, I kind of
Yep.
figured that you was going to not let that go.
Yep.
Something to that effect. And she started winding up on him and whatever. I said, okay, Penelope. She hiked that skirt up, that dress up. I was like, okay. Do it, Penelope. I like her.
I was like, okay. I was
What
like, it's
the
gonna get ready to go down. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was just like, okay. They got into it. I was like, oh, okay.
You were winding up on him. I said, okay.
I was like, both of them. I was like, okay. I see where this about to go.
And I like the fact that he invited her to stay a while. He was
Yeah.
like, she was like, you know what? Maybe I got a couple extra vacation days left. You know, maybe I can stay a little while longer. He was like, I like that. So I was like, hey, I feel like something gonna happen to her though.
You know what? I can see that.
Going back to what we were saying about Ronan last episode, or the episode, one of the episodes we did, we were talking about Ronan, the Ronan character, that Jeffrey might not be free and clear as he think he is.
That's true.
And
I kind of feel like it's more so he's going to kind of fall back in love with Penelope, because remember, the whole situation with his son, and like he's going to want to be with her, and then it's going to be like one of those where she's going to be like, well, my life is in London, and he's going to be
torn on whether or not to go back to London with her,
with the banks, or go back to London.
Yep.
Another saying could have been deleted.
Man, go ahead. Don't come in here now and try to smooth things over with me. You didn't try to smooth things over in front of everybody else with your girl, with your home girl was talking crazy to me like that.
Nope.
Nah, I ain't seeing for you right now, Lisa.
We good.
We good.
I'd have been like, nah, we good. I don't even know how you got in my room. I'd have been like, nah, we good.
I'm good. Yo, it's about my curfew. It's about time for you to head on in. So I appreciate it. Yeah, I would have been dry as fuck with her.
Yeah, like, I didn't know you was going through that, Lisa. Just tell me what's going. Nah, you and Carlson, y'all just basically just jumped me with this shorty that just came in that doesn't even know neither one of us
and what we've been through as a I don't know what to call it, but they're kind of their own family. They're their own kind of they've got history.
Exactly.
You don't know all the dynamics of how we got to this point. And I'm sorry, Will has just as much going on in his life as Lisa has going on in hers. I'm not excusing the fact that he's not a tentative boyfriend, but she's not also a tentative girlfriend. Like, he's trying to get the business going on. He's going through issues with his family. He's trying to keep an eye on Carlton. So forgive him if he's just not 100% focused on you. And the fact that you have to take care of your little brother, you got swim tryouts, like y'all both got a lot of stuff going on. Neither one of y'all should be holding each other accountable for not seeing the signs, because up until this point, we as the audience had not even seen Lisa going through anything other than her trying to do the swimming thing. So if it wasn't for her mentioning that she had to take care of her little brother and all this stuff, we wouldn't have known that. So how do you expect Will to know that?
Wouldn't know. Like,
because you hadn't had that conversation with your boyfriend yet about what you're going through. So you can't be salty with him because he's not asking you questions for you to tell him what's going on. I felt like if it's something that was truly bothering you, you would confide. It's just like us. When we have issues, when we have problems, we're close friends. So we're going to confide in one another and say, okay, hey, I got this going on or whatever, and seek out advice. We're not going to just wait for each other to say, hey, bro, I see something going on with you. Let me give you some advice on how to make, like, I feel like that was just a cop-out for her to cop out the fact that she did defend her boyfriend. Now, y'all can beat the shit out of me in the comments if y'all want to. That's the way I see it. That's just the way I see it. So, beat the shit out of me if you want to. It ain't going to change my opinion. I feel like that wasn't fair. I just felt like that wasn't fair. I'm not absolving Will whatsoever because I have my issues with Will, but I feel like in this case right here, he was ganged up on.
Yeah, he did. That's why I didn't like how easily he folded, because it was just like, yo, all y'all jump me, and even Carlton comes up and he makes an excuse.
Get out my damn room
For Amira, she doesn't mean it. And I'd have been like, this scene right here is literally in real life where me and Carlton, we probably would have threw hands because I would have been like, yo, bruh, are you serious right now? Like, I don't care how she felt. Like, this is your girl. I don't know her. She doesn't know me. She doesn't know our circle. She just knew, and you just allowing her time and time again. And this is probably like what, third, fourth time? Like, you're just allowing her to just do whatever she wants, say whatever she says, and it's just like nothing. Like, yo, we were on a good journey. We were on a good path. Me and you, we was here, like, like Martin.
We got past our issues. We got past our issues. I was there for you.
Yep.
I was there for you when you were putting that shit up your nose.
Yep.
Like, I would have had to hit him with some low blows. I'm sorry. I would have had to hit him with some
I would have said the same thing. Like Martin said, yo, like, we was here.
Yeah.
And you're allowing this girl to immediately blind you.
Yes.
And she just coming in just like,
yes.
Well, she doesn't mean it that way. And I'm like, nah, bro, you got to check your shorty.
I was just like, yo, get up my room. We'll talk about
this.
Shit.
They're like, I'd be like, nah, you gotta go. Because I was like, the way I'm feeling right now, we about to be at odds. And then this whole
another scene where I ain't seen it for you, Lisa. Lisa, she talking about, Lisa's, well, you were kind of right. Like, no, you should have been checking her. Like, yo, Amira, I appreciate what you was trying to do out there, but that's not your place. First of all, it's not your place to confront my dude. Second of all, it's not your place to sit here and put everybody's business on blast. You got your own issues you need to deal with. You need to be worried about Carlton. Don't be worried about what's going on in my relationship. Worry about your own. That's just a friendly advice or whatever, but, check your friend. Because
not even that. It's just like Lisa knows Carlton and Will. So it just should have been
better than she do. Better than
she do. And like you said, better than she do. So I at first I thought that's what Lisa was gonna go. Like, yo, I've been here since day one. I've been here since day one with Carlton. I've been here since day one with Will. I know the ins and outs. Like, I appreciate you standing up for me, but yo, you are way out of line. Like, yo,
exactly.
You gotta chill. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that, etc. Whatever. Like, me and Will together, I'm still friends with Carlton, and you're pushing this whatchamacallit, and it just turned into this whole, oh, I'm so sorry, etc. Whatever. And like we said, Retro been telling y'all, he had his eye on the mirror. He been telling y'all, and what happened? Lisa finds the vial of coke, and she literally gives Lisa the exact same BS story about this so-called sister. And it's weird because I've never even heard of this sister until she missed a dinner for Carlton. And so it goes back again to where Spencer was just like, no, I know you. Like,
and Lisa should have been like, Carlton, hey, come here.
that actually would have been dope, though.
I would have died.
That would have been dope.
It would have been like, Carlton, come here. First of all, Lisa, forget you, Lisa, because you're right. Little Miss Thing. I feel like today's my sister's anniversary and she passed. Okay. All right. 2 things, 3 things maybe. There is no sister and she's just making this up. And this is an excuse for her to keep using.
Yep.
2, either whatever happened to the sister is because of her and her drug use.
Ooh.
Or 3, now 3 is a stretch. 3, she did something to her sister.
I believe it's 1. I don't think there's a sister at all. Honestly, I think that's a whole, because every time like I said, when she's told the story again here, it just reverted me back to Spencer, where they had their whole, and he was like,
I know you.
Like, and we know her backstory that she's been through rehab 3 times and she's failed. So it's just like, yo, there's something, and I don't think there's a sister. I think that's just like, and then we saw, the whole thing with Carlton, and then like this whole rush, everything, and she's trying to find a different way to get a different high, etc. Whatever. I was just like, I don't even think there is. I don't think there's a sister
because she hasn't said what has happened to the sister. She
Exactly.
hadn't said what happened to the sister for her to be unalive.
Yeah.
It's one or two. Two is whatever happened to the sister is because of her and her drug use.
Exactly. So,
or one, there is no sister, and she's just making this as the excuse for her to keep using.
Yep.
Or for sympathy.
And the whole, I haven't used it, and I was like, bro, that's a half. I was like, that vial is not even full.
Yeah.
You use some.
Yeah.
I was like, you ain't fooling me.
Yep.
I was like, you use some. I was like, I don't know how much you use, but you use some.
I just, I commend Lisa for dealing with that situation, but Lisa did try to check her a little bit. Like, how you sit here trying to put everybody else on blast and you out here still using, and you know that Carlton is using you as a support system. And I felt like if she was true and she was honest and she was genuine, when she took her ass up there to get her cheeks clapped, she should have told Carlton about what just happened.
Hey,
I'm sorry, but that's what she did. She went up there. She went up there to go visit his room.
Well,
she should have told Carlton about what had happened, but no, Mandingo Warrior is ready to put it on her, and that just forgot to mention that. Oh yeah, I had a vial of Coke in my purse. But we can talk about that after you clap my cheeks, I guess.
This was another scene I felt like could have been deleted.
Yeah,
I was just like, it was just like no purpose because it was just like, okay, we saw this coming. It's predictable.
Yep.
Like we saw, what was that? Was that episode 1?
Yep.
Yeah, episode 1, where she was like, when they were still at rehab and she was automatically trying to whatchamacallit. Then we saw, when they left the beach and that whole interaction, of them up in the hills, and it was just like, yo, Carlton, this girl got your nose wide open, bro.
And there's nothing wrong. They young and dumb and full of you know what. And they having fun. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that, but it's the fact that it's with her.
Yeah.
It's the fact that it's with her because she's toxic. And I think it's going to lead back to Carlton using again. And this time it's going to be a lot worse because it's not crushed up Xanax that she's snorting.
Yeah. That's pure. That's pure kill.
Yeah.
Pure kill. Yeah. Like, I knew.
Why did this dummy of all people in the crowd take his mask off? Like, I knew when he took that mask off, I said, bro, you finna be on camera.
I was like,
somebody ring camera right
now. Level construction don't have cameras around there.
Yeah. So Jazz and the protesters decide they're gonna go out here and vandalize the construction site. And I guess it wouldn't have been so bad. I mean, vandalism is bad, period. But
yeah,
it wouldn't have been as bad if they did set the trailer on fire. That right there is arson. A little vandalism that could have been like a misdemeanor charge or whatever. But the arson, I feel like that's kind of like knocking on the door of a felony.
And I felt like he could have stopped dude when he said like, yo, what you doing? He could have ran over and was like, nah, this ain't what we doing. Like, and he just let him do it.
Is it clear that Will was there?
So
the mask in the box is throwing me off. Was he looking at the mask because he wanted to go? Or is he putting the mask away because he just got back home?
I've been trying to figure this out as to if he was there and helped them, or if it was one of the joints where like that happened, Jazz hit him and was like, yo, I need you to hide this. But I kind of feel like Will was there and he was the one where Jazz was like, yo, we gotta go. Like, cause there was a person, like after the dude lit the whatchamacallit on fire, he grabbed him and was like, yo, we gotta go. So I kind of feel like Will was there and he didn't think that it was going to go that far or like he was going to get caught up. because I had the same thing because I had to watch it. Matter of fact, I watched it this ending part 3 times because I was just like, yo, was he there? And like, you know, like I said, Jazz just gave him like, yo, how? But then it started clicking. I was like, yo, if Will wasn't there, why would Jazz say, hey, yo, I need your help, hide this mask, etc., whatever, when Jazz could have just hid that mask. So that's why I felt like he was there.
Okay, so you might be right because I'm torn between either he was looking at the mask because he wanted to be there, or he was putting the mask away because he had just got back in. So we'll see.
I didn't even think that he could have been there. Like he looked at the mask because he wanted to go there. Yeah, now I feel like, especially as we saw in episode 8 what he was doing, I kind of feel like, yeah, he was there.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like he was there.
Okay, so y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, and y'all make sure y'all drop episode right here because of the whole freak like me at Punta Vida. You know what they say. But anyway, y'all go ahead and make sure y'all share the video out. Drop y'all comments so we can go ahead and continue these discussions. And we will hit y'all back with episode 8. Fresh, you got anything else, bro?
Nah, man, that's it pretty much. So we'll definitely let y'all, like you said, drop it down in the comments. Let y'all know. Let us know what y'all think of episode 7, and we'll definitely be back.
Answer up about some of these opinions of ours, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, so we'll definitely be back for episode 8, and we'll see what else is going to happen for the rest of the season 4 of Bel-Air. It's 2 episodes left, so who knows how they're going to drop it. So
we'll get them tomorrow.
I won't be surprised.
They'll drop them on Thursday, both episodes probably. We'll see.
Yeah, so y'all let us know what y'all think, and you know, we'll be back for episode 8.